Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg and this is...
Pretty positive, Matt Strange. And this is...
Cardboard cutout about to blow away in the storm. Muir.
Fabulous. Wonderful.
How are you guys doing?
I'm going to be good, because normally I'll go off on some fucking 10-minute talk about anime or some fucking game I'm playing or whatever. I'm good. I'm positive. I was drunk last night. What about you, boys?
See how it is. They're drunk without me. I'm hurt now.
You can't drink!
I know.
I treated myself to a rather nice bottle of Penderyn because it was on special offer. So I spent last night
to
drinking,
suffer through WrestleMania.
which was surprisingly good considering. But more on that tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow by the time I've done the editing. Yeah, I stayed up, watched WrestleMania, watched it. Zach, one of our co-hosts, popped in.
Occasional pop-ins.
Yeah, occasionally popped in and watched it, and we actually quite enjoyed it.
I'm looking forward to the clusterfuck of a ness of it. Hi, if you've never listened to us before and you're here from tomorrow's WrestleMania review, I don't watch WWE, but I will drink some beers and watch WrestleMania tomorrow, and we will review it. As if you're here, you know. Welcome to our podcast.
So this is going to be a slightly shorter podcast than normal because we've got our WrestleMania review, and that's a 2-night review that we're doing tomorrow. So we have decided we're going to postpone our final of the favourite matches reviews.
No Phil versus Big Man John.
Yeah, because I just it'd be watching too much wrestling, and but if this is the first time listening to our podcast or the second time listening to our podcast, or if you're just new to the podcast or maybe you've forgotten since last week, we have a tier list, which is how we do our reviews. It's how we give our scores for the individual matches of Dynamite and give an overall score for Dynamite using the power of alphabet maths, and also how we give the overall review for Dark Elevation and for BTE. We are still currently not reviewing Dark under protest until it gets good again. Mr. Strange, over to you to explain the tier list.
Hi there. Normally I'd put some swank on this, but a lot of you might be new. So we're just going to go through. You probably know it from Tier Zoo on YouTube, good channel, Japanese computer games like Resident Evil, or just going to school, I suppose. We don't go too low unless we're being facetious. Our lowest grade we give out is a D rank match. A D rank match is a bad match. You don't want to watch it. Maybe it was a squash. Maybe there was no story. Maybe the wrestlers had no chemistry. It's bad. What we come to expect is the next rank up, a C, a good match. C sounds average, but we want to be entertained. Often you'll hear the terms of this is what a C rank match should be. We want enough story to care about why it's in the ring. Or if there isn't enough story, we just want phenomenal wrestling. But either way, that entire presentation's got to be good. You've enjoyed the moment. You know why they're there. From there, we go up into a B rank match. That's often referred to as match plus one by us. We want good story. We want good wrestling. It's not just good. It just elevates everything to that level where it's a really enjoyable part of the show. You know why they're there. You know what they're doing when they're leaving and everything in the ring. You go, whoa, I enjoyed that. Top of the week normally, sometimes top of the month, is an A rank match. This is the best you expect, basically. All the things we've talked about prior are just there and better. We've got really good story going in and hopefully coming out. We can take a conclusion. The wrestling is great and on point. You go, wow, that was fucking awesome. I can't wait to talk on a podcast about this A-rank match. The top of the tier list is S, Super, Sugoi, Superior. Holy shit, my expectations. That's what I want in an S-rank match. I want story twists. I want a conclusion to an arc or a new arc, or I just want to know why the fucking wrestlers are there and they are making me feel like I'm watching a film, not just two big men slapping each other and doing flips and shit. I want cool moves I've never seen or some fucking spots that blow my mind. I want to send that video clip to people who don't watch wrestling and go, please watch wrestling. I talk about it on the internet. But that's our tier list. D, it's bad. B, C, it's good. B, it's very good. A, that was awesome. And S, holy shit, watch this. Tier list. I thought I'd have a week off. Also, I got the alphabet in the correct order. Because the amount of times
shock.
I fuck up C to B is
Or
amazing.
when you say it's alphanumerical, when it's just fucking it's just alphabetical.
It's just bollocks. It's just a tier
I've just
list.
realised I muted myself when I said that. So we haven't mentioned Penta versus the Black Lotus tribe at all this week at all.
At all, no. Good work. It's an S-rank match. You should watch it. It's got really good Joshis against a great luchador.
So moving on, this is going to be quite a short show because we move on to our usual news section where we try and pick any bits of... We normally look for bits of AEW news that we just happen to have found interesting to have a chat about. And there hasn't really been... I suppose the only...
WrestleMania.
Everything is WrestleMania. I think we can cover that tomorrow. I suppose the only thing is that AEW had their first non-televised event, their first house show.
They never do, but then they did.
Yeah, they've done it because WrestleMania's in Florida. I bet you.
Yes.
It's to make the WrestleMania weekend.
Yes, but they said they would purposely not do this, and then they did it.
You've got to ride the torrents of wrestling popularity. Get some crowds in. Get your money where you can. People will watch, as much as I like AEW and I don't watch WWE, people will watch AEW out of spite to spite WWE because console wars, basically.
Yeah,
so, fuck it, might as well make some money off it.
Yeah, fair.
Or people will just want something else to do as well.
Yeah.
So, moving on from the news, say very light this week. Social media. Normally, Mr. Strange pulls us a piece of social media out, something he's found interesting. And
you guess what people are talking about? It's WrestleMania. I will give a little kudos to the wrestling industry. People from AEW are complimenting WrestleMania things that happened last night, and it all seems very positive and supportive in the discussion, which is entirely about WrestleMania.
So
it's the highlight of wrestling, I suppose.
It's WrestleMania. You know, if in a perfect world, we got the super super cinematic crossover universe. You know, WrestleMania weekend.
Wrestle Kingdom.
But it'd be I think WrestleMania. as much as you love it, I think WrestleMania is a bit more of an institution at 37. So they've had really shit ones.
It's bigger, but
it's definitely bigger.
Yeah,
100% a bigger event in wrestling.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's better. I'm going to say it's bigger, and I think
because then a fight would break out.
It's the week.
It's just wrong.
It's the week that it would be the week when just wrestling happened.
Everybody would be doing a wrestling show.
Wrestling Christmas.
There
we go.
Exactly.
So
Vince McMahon comes down your chimney.
Steals all your best talent. And then puts them in his cafeteria and doesn't use them. That's what Christmas is about.
Get us back on track.
I think there's more on that later. I think it's time for us to start doing the reviews for the week. We kick off, as always, with BTE or Being the Elite. Over to you, Mr. Muir.
So it started with a Matt Hardy promo that should have been on one of the shows, in my opinion. I thought it was quite good. Don't know what you guys thought about it.
Yeah, like we're getting a lot more of the intriguing parts of Matt Hardy on Being the Elite, and I'm aware they basically use it to test the water whether people are going to go over, but put it on the show.
Yeah,
although we didn't have a lot of promos. We'll discuss that later.
Then we moved on to the Dark Order complaining about Butcher and Blade always grabbing dicks. Then we find out that Silver is pregnant and Ted is the dad. That's also.
Oh God, I'd forgotten about that.
Then Five comes in with his...
cut Five's dick on.
No, that was last week. Five comes in with his dick on ice. Then Ty is in Anna's spot. Everybody just says that Ty's always there and it's never been anybody else, sort of thing.
I love that.
Then 10 steps on Five's dick and Five does the long no on the floor. So that's quite fun. Then we move over to...
was laughing, so it's good.
So after that dick joke, we move on to the Good Brothers that for some reason have to have a dick warning before their shit bit.
I kind of like it. It made me laugh, especially as we know people who aren't the biggest Good Brothers fans. I quite like the fact Anderson's like, it's going to be a lot of dick jokes. I was like, good lad. And I love the dick joke.
What I find is hilarious is the fact that both weeks they've done the warning, they've had hardly any dick jokes. They've had just a very minor joke. And I believe again this week, they're wholesome dick jokes this week. But again, this week, got a chuckle out of the Raptor for this story.
So
I love Gallows because he's a giant.
So they find Gallows backstage after the match, and he's trying to pretend that he's not blind. He's like trying to do the too sweet at them, and he's facing the wrong way. He falls over a load of shit. He has his pants hanging down to his ankles.
He is not afraid to fucking throw himself over.
He hurted himself for this joke. And the obvious joke is he hadn't wanked for so long that he wanked so much after the match that he actually went blind.
I love it. I love him. What am I gonna do?
What am I gonna do?
It was Carl Anderson with his, we're going to start losing again now.
Yeah.
So then we had the hardcore best friends versus Miro and Kip match highlights. Then we had the Bucks and Callis bit again for more foreshadowing. Yeah. I thought this was getting very old because we've seen this like 3 times in a row on BTE now, and I'm just a bit bored of it. But yeah, they're trying to push their story. So,
to be fair, go on.
I think it'll calm down next week. More on that later.
Yeah. I think one of the other thing you remember is this is the Bucks show.
Yeah. I know. I get you. But I gave this a solid C for this. As much as I enjoyed the dick jokes.
Oh, was that it was really short, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was around 10 minutes, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. I was expecting you to say more. No, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the Good Brothers dick jokes more than the shrimp dick thing, but I think it just went on a little bit long with the laughing at the prawn. But yeah, it was all right. Good laugh. Enjoyable BTE.
It was solid and it's so short, minutes. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 13 minutes of your life, you know, and it wasn't a bad 13 minutes. Gallows fell over and was really funny.
I love
it.
It was just brilliantly done. I think that was the highlight. To be fair, the Matt Hardy promo was also good. So we move on from there. Over to you, Mr. Strange. It's time for Dark Elevation. Did anybody get elevated this week?
Well, I've got notes on it. My opening thing is it was only 1 hour and 37 minutes. God be praised, and I'm not even religious.
What did you do to deserve this?
Thank you, Pazuzu, for blessing me with this short Dark Elevation. Right, so we open up with Hangman Page versus No Entrance Bill Collier, so you know who's winning.
Oh, God, not No Entrance Bill Collier, my favourite wrestler.
Wasn't bad. Not the best match. I gave it a low C on actual technique, but Collier was elevated because Hangman doesn't like smashing people. He gave him a match. It was a bit awkward at first, but then they got into it. My only real criticism of this match is halfway through, League, the older Paul White, said, "Absolute power absolutely corrupts." I'm quoting Spider-Man. That's what he said. Not Lord Action, who said it long ago, and is the founder. No, Spider-Man. Spider-Man has that ancient historic quote. Iron Man.
I thought Spider-Man's quote was "Great power comes great responsibility."
Responsibility, yes, mate. That's why
that's a complete misquote.
In all honesty, Spider-Man's a bit like Pokemon now. There's 8,000 of them in 70 different storylines, so he might have said it. But, give me death or give me freedom. Iron Man. Brilliant. From there, we rocked into Dean Alexander and Carly Bravo versus the Varsity Blondes. Once again, you know who's going to win. My only issue with this is, wasn't Carly Bravo meant to be in a tag team with Sean Dean with a military gimmick going on?
I thought that was what was happening.
Well, apparently that's gone. That upset me. They did at least get entrances. That was nice.
Fancy.
Yeah. There was it was being elevating. They were getting some good moves in, and it was solid. And then 4 minutes in, it ended. Doing all of the elevation.
Good work.
So I gave that a D. Yeah. We got Alex Gracia, who got an entrance against Britt. Britt did a little bit. Britt mocked her and laughed about her getting an entrance, which made me laugh. Some good shitlord building from Britt, taking the piss and doing a mockery, and then she got down onto all fours in the traditional wrestling position and was like, "Come on then, Gracia, have a pop." I was like, oh, she's going to get the advantage taken out of her because the heel's being a twat. And Gracia went in and she just rolled her up, put her into the lockjaw and won instantly. So she mocked her, took the piss, went down on all fours to give her a opening, to take the piss, and then just won because of it. So definitely not elevating, and I gave that was a D. It was like ultimate mocker you squash match. I hated it. I've got another big quote in the next one. Danny Limelight versus 10. This is what I expect from an elevation match, to be completely honest. I know 10's getting a push, but he's still not, top tier guy. Danny Limelight has a big spider on his Titantron video now, which helps explain his embarrassing Spider-Man tattoo.
Great power comes great responsibility of that tattoo.
in this match, so 10 wins with the full Nelson again. It was Beak said 10 was like an eel going into a hole, and I was like,
"What?
How is that like an eel going into a hole?" It was a solid enough match, but they're not the best pairing together. Danny couldn't pull off any of his cool lucha stuff. No. Not really. It was all right, but
Do you think Big Show was watching the 10 and John Silver sex tape?
Yeah.
Release the Paul White cut.
And that's where the eel going into the hole comes from.
Yeah.
No.
I'm glad I don't have a visual mind. From there, we rocked into Big Swole versus No Entrance Allure.
Oh, No Entrance Allure, my favourite character.
It was very one-sided, obviously. Allure got a very small sequence of moves and then was taken out with the worst power bomb I've ever seen in my life.
What?
That's Swole, watch it, mate. Swole just sort of has her around her and she falls. And I was like, and it was, oh my God, a power bomb. I was like, I don't think it is. It wasn't elevating, but I gave the match a low. It's all right. If you could hit me up with that, please, Morg.
It's all right.
That's where we were. Side Owls did a promo. Not the best promo, but they are kind of adorable in there.
I like the Side Owls.
They're very soft voiced, and it kind of made me go, "Aw." Michael Nakazawa took on Morales, who had no intro, which is not good. Morales actually looked fucking great, though. He did some high bounce lucha stuff. It was actually elevated. We got the rope dick slide in again, the hentai slide from Nakazawa, which always makes me laugh. Not the smoothest match, but you got to see Morales do some cool high flying stuff. Obviously, a heel win from Nakazawa. But he does do a weird, face slam 69 thing as his finisher, and can't say I'm a fan. It's a bit too weird. I don't know his gimmick is weird, pervy things, but I didn't like it.
Is this just the elevation of Spider-Man references? With Morales?
Kind of. Yeah, no, good point. And but that's 3 Spider-Man references or attachments, connections in
Marvel's AEW confirmed.
Oh no, they're DC people. If you look at their art connection, I could talk about that at some point. Right, then Lance had a match booked with Baron Black, but the match began with Lance bringing Baron Black out, already beating him up. So a rough start for him. Jake was on commentary. Lance mostly beat up Baron Black. He got some moves in, but not elevating. Then Jake did a promo, basically shit talking things, and then Lance bigged up Sting, leading to a big feud. Obviously, I hadn't watched Dark at the actual show at this point, so more on that later. But a little bit of continuity.
Yeah.
Rio, one I like, not Riho. Not that I dislike Riho. Rio Girl Carter took on Tesha Price, who got an entrance. I'm not going to big up Rio. We all know how much I love her. It was a more even match, but they didn't have a lot of chemistry. Like last week when I was talking about the Kylan King Rio match, they had a lot of fucking chemistry and fun in that ring. Tesha got a lot more heel stuff in to define her character. It was elevating enough, but it was just a beat off. I gave it a beat off. Just a beat off the wrestling. I gave it a low all right again. Morg?
It's all right.
God, buddy.
There we go. Right, probably the most disappointing match for me is the next one. I had real high hopes for this match. It's Colt Cabana versus Max Caster. And that's not to say it...
Colt's wrestled.
Yeah, hasn't it? I'm not going to say it's a bad match, but
I wanted something out of this.
I wanted something more from these two like comedy wrestlers. Great start because Master comes out, shit talks his podcast. He's got Bowens with him. Colt instantly leaves the ring and just comes back in holding Uno's hand to watch the other guy. We got Colt trickster moves. We got a bunch of shenanigans from the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
And Max wins by just a bit more shenanigans. Owens gets up on the side and throws his chain over to Uno on the other side, who holds it. So the ref's looking at it, and then Caster trips Colt into the boombox and gets the win. Wasn't really elevating, though. As I love both of them, and I think there could have just been a lot more of a fun Colt trickster, Max stupid combo. Don't know. From there, we get one of the more obvious matches. We've got the Hardy Mob of Private Party and Butcher and the Blade versus Adam Priest, Ryzen, Fuego, and D3, who were all in the ring and got no intro.
Jeez.
The first mass of the match was D3 getting annihilated, but he did get to show a bunch of heart, and that was kind of cool for him. Fuego got a great hot tag against Private Party. He looked ace, and then it was over. Priest and Ryzen didn't even step in the ring. Wrestling was solid, but just
good paychecks for Ryzen, though.
Literally. And I love Ryzen, and Adam Priest are a really good wrestler, and just, I don't know, disappointing just to give them a win they didn't realistically need.
Too many wrestlers.
Too many cooks.
Too many.
Then we've got a new section on the show, which I quite like the idea of. It's meant to be like the interviewing noob section, where Beeg interviews different people, and you get to know them. But he was not interviewing a noob, he's interviewing John Silver. It was still nice. They talked about where they'd been, how he met Alex Reynolds, talked about Brody a bit. But Paul White's not a bad interviewer, to be completely honest. It was kind of heartfelt and warmed. Nice idea. Yeah, nice idea. I liked it. I just think I'd like it to be a few more of the lower card guys. But
not the people we actually know about, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then we rocked into Matt Hardy versus 5. It was all Hardy from the start. We got a bit of a 5 comeback, but Hardy isn't the right opponent for Alan Angels. Then he hit his new submission and instantly tapped out 5. Nobody was elevated. A high meh in my ability. Then Hardy got on the mic for a bit, solid Hardying, saying he was mad at Darby, so he may or may not be after Darby now. It was all right. And the finale was Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page versus the Side Owls. Just pretty solid. It was all right. It was a medium, so all right, Morg. Like a light positive.
Who won this one? I'm guessing
Page.
Scorpio and
Page and Scorpio.
Page and Scorpio, I'd imagine.
The fact you had to ask was good.
I just wanted to make sure.
Mate, Side Owls got their flippy kick shit in all good. Solid wrestling from Team Arrogance, basically. And I fucking love the Ego's Edge as a finisher. Just, I'm going to throw you. Brings me great joy. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Right.
Overall, the show was all right. If things just weren't so obvious. And I really dislike that Gracia Britt match. If your heel is going to over-egg their opponent to make them look shit, they should they should take a kicking.
And this is from heel lover Matt Strange.
Yeah.
Yes, mate. You can't have a good hero without a good villain. And if the good villain basically walks in and goes, "You're shit, I bet you can't beat me if I lie on my back and close my eyes," which isn't exactly what she did, but it's close.
Yeah.
And then the villain, and then the hero walks up, the hero or whoever it is walks up, and they just go, "Aha!" and beat them. There's no fucking depth. I'd give this a whole. It's all right as a show. It's a low C overall, but it's got a lot of good and interesting moments. I can't say really go out of your way to watch any of the matches, which is probably the worst thing about it. But I didn't hate watching it. Is probably the best thing to say. And 137, boys. Fucking 137.
Matt Strange watching at Dark Elevation, so you don't have to.
Doing God's work.
I've actually got to have a quick throwback to the news because I've just remembered something.
There
are two big rumours going around at the minute. I know Muir's going to hate this. One is oh god. Big Cass, I can't remember what his name is now, formerly Dubsy Big Cass. Big mates with Luke Gallows, apparently. Luke Gallows helped him a lot with getting over his addictions and his facing his demons. Rumoured AEW were looking at him. Somebody else that AEW were looking at, somebody has tweeted a picture which is a big cat emoji. We don't know whether it's a jaguar or whether it's the New Japan logo suggestion. I think you'll be wanting him to go back to NJPW.
Well, he's never been to NJPW.
Oh, has he not? Yes.
We would like Andrade to go to NJPW so he can go be friends with Naito.
Yeah.
To his old friend.
Yeah.
No, I still want Los Ignorables America, but
yeah, true.
I want my crossover universe of shitlords.
I wouldn't mind Big Kaz and Enzo in as like low tier twats in AEW.
I don't know if you'll get Enzo. Apparently, it is Big Cass that they are talking to.
Both of them.
Enzo had a fight with Joey Janela. It ain't happening.
Who cares about Joey Janela? I mean,
Enzo.
Enzo is a bit of a dick.
Yes, but I like my wrestlers to be a bit of a dick. You know,
Raw Carney power.
Anyway, let's move back on.
Do this.
back onto where we should be. Dynamite opens up, the Inner Circle arriving en masse in limos, cars, and vans.
In Tony Khan's cars.
Yeah.
Just wrote there was an intro.
JR Schiavone and Excalibur on commentary, and we open with Hangman versus Maskcaster with Anthony Bowens. Hangman wins with the buckshot lariat. Thoughts and scores from you guys?
Good opening rap. I enjoyed it. And I love the fact when he got in the ring, Hangman just fucking decked him. He was just like, game over. As much as I like both of them, once again, not much chemistry between these two. It was all right. Like, I can't really put it down. Obviously, Max has to use shenanigans for the power scale. Once again, I wanted more from this. And I don't know if it's just because Max is rising the ranks, so he hasn't fought a lot of these more established or trained with a lot of these more established guys more. But yeah, it was just not quite there. It was all right. I quite like the double bluff with the boombox and things for the shenanigans. I gave it a C. Like, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't the opener we had last week, was it, boys? And it wasn't some of the Hangman things we've seen. It was all right.
I think with the amount of shenanigans that they had in this, they should have let Bowens win because he threw so much bollocks into that, and then it just made him look a bit shit when he didn't win after, doing multiple different forms of cheating. But yeah.
The missus, who isn't the biggest acclaimed fan and is a Hangman fan and loves the Dark Order, was like, Bowen should have won through shenanigans because then you can get him into a little Dark Order plot, which I agreed with, but I didn't hate Hangman winning. Like,
I didn't hate it.
I'm guessing you both mean Caster.
Caster, sorry, yes. I've got Bowens down.
I loved the idea that Bowens should have won the match that he wasn't in because of all of the shenanigans he caused.
Yeah,
I was quite down with that.
He was the shenanigans man in that match, though.
Yeah.
Here's your chain, here's your boombox, I'm doing a distract.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yeah, I think Caster should have definitely won that. I thought it would have made more sense for plot, but it was a solid C match.
I think the problem is they want to leave Hangman as the number one contender, even though that doesn't mean anything. And actually, would have been better for Caster. Would have been better for Caster to overtake him, because I think it's too soon for Hangman to be the number one contender at the minute.
When are they thinking of taking these belts off Kenny?
Exactly. Yeah,
it can't be soon. So why are you keeping Hangman as number one contender?
I mean, if you're going to do it at any time, you'd do it at All In.
Well, yeah.
Because that's your WrestleMania.
It's their WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's Tony Khan Christmas.
Tony Khan.
He comes down the chimney to give you some indie wrestlers. Thanks,
Too
Tony.
many indie wrestlers.
Yeah, I think this did show that maybe Max Caster isn't quite ready for these higher rate matches and probably needs to do more mid-card matches.
Just the mid-card shit heel. He shouldn't be pushed this high. He's perfect in the mid-card.
Yeah.
So, and I think that the Acclaim...
If you're listening, I love you.
We love you.
Don't take any of this as criticisms. Shitty mid-carders are my favourites.
We all love the mid-card here, mate.
And I want to see more of the Acclaimed.
As a tag team.
I wonder if Bowens is slightly injured or something.
Most likely. It makes the most sense thinking about it.
Is the high impact member of their team.
And I really did like Bowens cutting Castor off before he set. But anyway, so yeah, all in all, I gave it a C as well. Mr. Muir, what was your score? Sorry,
mate.
Your score?
Dead. C.
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 I did say C.
Yeah, I missed it. I missed it.
Okay, no worries.
So moving on from there, we had a Death Triangle in-ring interview that was interrupted by the best friends. Thoughts and scores?
It's a little weird, boys.
Yeah, no, I wanted it. I got my notes go in this order. I went, my boy, as Pat came out. Then I wrote down Phoenix as the best wrestler in the world when he just sort of bounced around the ropes
mate,
for lols.
He is the best wrestler in the world.
Then I was like, oh shit, my other boys are here.
Yes, mate. This should be perfect.
I love Pac. I think he's got that. When he said jog on, I pissed, but it didn't seem to be. Yes, mate. They didn't seem to be responding to what each other was saying. It was just the cadence was a bit. I'm here for the feud, and we got sick of Kip and Miro and the best friends, and they fucking brought it back. Rough start. I'm still excited.
But what about if we had some sort of hardcore belts for these two to feud over, and then they bring in Kenta as well? Just think how great that would be.
Oh, stop teasing me, boy. Stop teasing me.
So, my issue with this is, it's going to be very weird because I am imagining that next week's match, is it going to be heel versus heel? Death Triangle didn't really feel like heels. They just felt like some guys, and not some guys. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean that because they never feel like some guys.
They're the best people in the world.
And the best friends came out going, yeah, you're just some other guys. Not like we're really pissed at you for this. It's like, oh, you did this and we haven't forgotten. And Death Triangle kind of went, yeah, well, we did that, but I think we've got to turn face next week. More on that later as to why. So maybe we shouldn't be having this feud. And it felt a bit weird.
They're going to maintain him as luchador tweeners.
I'd also had the spoiler for what happens at the end. So when I was watching this, I was sitting there thinking, yeah. So I just found it very confusing. Anyway,
it was a strange set of settings.
Are we giving it a score, or is it just?
I gave it a C because I'm excited to see these people.
I gave it a C with a question mark just for the team thing, but we've seen them save awkward promos before. Rough start for what we got, shall we say?
Yeah. So moving on from a C promo.
Oh, I love this.
I have a feeling this is the thing that me and Muir agreed on earlier. Inner Circle in-ring promo, which was mainly a Chris Jericho promo. I'm going to let you guys talk about this, and then I'm going to...
2A, sorry.
I fucking love this. I love the intro bit with... Jericho comes out and is instantly a face when he's like, oh, blah, blah, nice crowd, Callie. We're going to the break. And then I got to watch the break, in the break stuff when he was setting with the crowd. And he was like, we're going to need to start that Inner Circle chant again. All in character. God, he's fucking good.
How he goes from diabolical heel like 1 week to instant like super baby face the next week. I just fucking love how he just drops the gimmick. He's like, no, I'm face now.
Do you know what the best thing about it was? The gimmick didn't change. He said exactly the same things Jericho has been saying as evil Jericho.
Yes.
My jerk-off friend, how they're going to bust them up and such like. But the way he just turns the intonation and makes it, it's simple leading a crowd. You don't say, oh, you say we.
Yes.
It was a phenomenal face turn. I love the subtle list joke thing when he was like, we've got the list of words back there too.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to turn this for the Blood and Guts War Games. It reminded me of season 1 Johnny Mundo in Lucha Underground, where he was arrogant, stupid, and aggressive, but a
And he was a good
face
guy.
because he was a dumbass.
Yeah.
My jerk-off friend admitting that he was outsmarted. I fucking love this. This is how I expect a decent face turn to be done, and I gave it an A. It was wonderful.
Yes, this is definitely an A. I haven't got much more to say on this apart from I just watched it. I didn't really write notes because I just was enjoying actually good crowd work. Because Jericho is one of the kings of crowd work, and it was just beautiful to watch. Yeah, this is a solid A from me.
I think I've already blown this because of what I said earlier.
Yeah.
I was going to try and make a joke about, oh, you both gave this an A. No,
No.
I gave this an A.
It's too good to fuck about with, mate.
Yeah, this was a masterclass in how to do a face promo, and how to turn your character either face or heel. In you do exactly the same things, but you do it to the heels. It's one of the things I've said before. This was brilliant. It was the bits about, there was the apology to the fans, but it was so subtly in there that it didn't feel cheesy. You know, there was the apology for us being heels. I think watching the bit of promo that we got to see during the break, I think that was cleverly purposeful. Cleverly done on purpose, so we were in on the joke when it came back and you had them chanting the Inner Circle.
2-year veteran. You expect him to be able to do shit like this.
Yeah,
you know?
and we're all watching at home. You're in on the joke as well as the fans who were there who were in on the joke. I'm imagining it's only the TNT crowd or anyone who was actually on a commercial break. That's if they'd actually gone to a commercial break. I don't know whether they just pulled a clever. This was a lesson in how to cut a babyface promo. I loved every minute of this. Definite solid A. Moving
you know what
on.
I'm most excited for? Nah. Do you know what I'm most excited for? We all watch BTE.
Yep.
I am really, really excited to see Face Santana. That man on BTE or on Sammy's blog when his character, he's got so much big smiley dad energy that we haven't had a chance to see.
I think
he's always got a lovely grin.
think they've been teasing this with the Latinos thing at the minute.
Yeah.
They've been practicing their face turn almost.
Wonderful.
That they're going to be goofy badasses.
Face Ortiz, mate. Little happy goblin, man. He's going to be wicked.
Awesome. Right.
Can't wait for him to get Mayu in so the goblin faction can be formed.
So, following on from that, Christian Cage backstage interview. Taz interrupts. Any thoughts?
I liked it.
It was solid.
Cage was doing a bit of all right promoing, just talking a thing. I love the Team Taz sitcom. More on that later. I quite like the honesty of the situation where Taz is like, "Yo, we're old mates. Do you want to work for me?"
Yeah.
Peace with no strings attached, no threats. I gave it a B. I'm actually intrigued. I thought it was cool.
I gave it a C. I thought it was really good work, though. I really enjoyed I've got a load of young guys that could do with your experience sort of thing. I thought it was good. Yeah, it was solid C for me.
I'm going to have to rank it now because I hadn't actually ranked it. Because it was just good. As I haven't ranked it, I'm going to have to say it was a C. No, as I haven't ranked it, and I haven't specifically ranked it, I'm going to have to say it was a C. Because it obviously,
good,
it got a ranking, so it goes on our list of rankings. It was good. I'm interested, I'm intrigued, and more on that shortly. Then it was the Kong versus Godzilla match. Jurassic Express versus Bear Country. Luchasaurus wins with standing moonsault. Thoughts and scores on the match?
Okay, I did get angry about the little tie-in video because of anyone who knows me or occasionally listens to me go on a little mental breakdown on this podcast knows that I've got a somewhat anarchist soul. So any idea of corporate sponsorship matches fill me with hatred. But the match.
Yeah, let's talk about the match.
I already knew who was going to win, and I had a double take on who was going to win because I know the team and I know who wins in the... I'm assuming it's film accurate. If Godzilla doesn't win, I'm going to be very upset as a Gojira fan.
I haven't watched it yet.
I think Kong will win by bollocks. I'm going to tell you that
actually
now,
think
Kong is the face in this
I've watched the first first quarter of it the other morning because I've heard some good reviews. I have a feeling what is actually going to happen is, because Godzilla turned face in the last movie and they reference that, is I actually think at the end of it, I'm assuming they both team up together and it's going to be a whole Batman
they
versus
high
Superman
They've
to
got
go
to beat
to
Mecha
go and
Godzilla.
to yes, that's
What's
exactly
Godzilla's-
it. To
What's
go and
Godzilla's
beat
mom's name? Oh,
yeah,
it'll be Cyber Ghidorah, won't it? My favourite
yeah,
one.
the
Right,
bigger
this
threat.
wrestling match.
Anyway,
This
yes.
wrestling match. Right, okay, well,
There's your
going through
tier
this,
list for next week. Kaiju monsters.
I'm in. Bear Bronson fucking mogs Luchasaurus. Jesus
mate.
Christ, he's a massive man. Otherwise, the match was mostly okay. The only time I felt kind of awkward was it is Bear Bronson, the bigger one. Tends to do that thing where he does a double slam on people, and Luchasaurus leapt off at him when he had Jungle Boy on his back in a crossbody. And I assume he was meant to catch him and do the double slam thing, but Luchasaurus just fucking hit him and bounced off, which went a bit wrong. I really like the fact Luchasaurus's hot tag couldn't do the same things he normally does. He actually had a different set of
different.
he fought them like a quicker man because he can't just be the strong guy. Weakness in the match. Like a couple of minutes in, JR said, Sting will be here in a few minutes. And I was like, thanks, JR. Now I know the match length.
Yeah.
Once again, not a lot of chemistry between these teams. And I think that
it was a bit spotty at best.
Yeah, I did really like the pile driver to break the pin. It was shit, but great at the same time. The two-man senton is ludicrous. I probably wouldn't have used it for getting a quick kick out, though, in my opinion. Not the best match. It did get Bear Country over. I gave it a C. I was entertained enough. It got them over. Putting my hatred of the sponsorship aside, gave it a C.
If I had to include anything to do with the sponsorship in this, it's a D, but the match is actually a C. It was a bit clunky. There was a few bits where it was a bit, what's going on here? But it was solid enough. And I'm glad to see Bear Country on the actual main show. I'm glad for them to be moving up the proverbial ladder, so to speak. So I enjoyed this enough. It was a C from me.
Yeah, I also gave it a C. I'm not sure whether Bear Country are actually that comfortable being heels. I think, weirdly, for a couple of big guys, and I know they were working heel, they both seem quite jolly and big. They feel like heavy machinery. And I think
heavy machinery, but with a different skin on. As much as I like these boys, that's what they are.
Yeah, and I think they didn't seem. Maybe they normally don't wrestle heel, and they just seemed a bit uncomfortable. And I think that let the match down. There was some chemistry issues, which is unusual with Jurassic Express, to be fair, because we have. Even though when we've criticised them for overdoing things, they've generally always had a good match. But I suppose it was a C. I gave it a C as well. So they didn't get a D.
No.
So I can't complain
most
too
of
much.
Wrestling, you're gonna get a lot of that was all right from me in this show. Nothing bad's happened, but just lacking chemistry.
Next was the QT promo with his new faction. Thoughts and scores?
Solid. I kind of liked it.
Where's this QT been? Fuck
we had a Vanilla Midgets joke.
Yep.
We had a Bayless boyfriend reference for Aaron Solo.
Yeah,
this QT has been under Cody's shadow.
Yeah. I think he could do with a little bit more bite in his way he speaks, but that's because I'm used to wrestlers who take a lot of cocaine. Anthony Ogogo talks about punching people, and he's upped his London accent a bit more to be hard for the old Americans.
Good.
And Nick Comoroto stood in the back and looked like an average 16-year-old schoolboy. Wonderful. I gave it a B. I'm more interested in this than anything the Nightmare Family have shown me in the last year.
I really liked this. I liked his sort of quiet yet angry man. He was like sitting down, like he has people to be angry for him. So he's just sitting there giving his monologue of what's happening. I liked it. I gave this an A because I thought it was really good. And I thought it was a good recharacterization of this group. And it got over each member of these guys that have just been jobbers on Dark. This is Anthony Ogogo. This is Aaron Solo. It got all of them over. This was perfect for them.
So I've got the deciding vote. Had Anthony Ogogo not done that absolutely phenomenal punch, that phenomenal punch, and gone, this is what I do. I'm a boxer. The other week, And I loved the Anthony Ogogo promo bit. He's obviously the one that they're expecting to be the bigger promo guy out of the three guys. He came across well. I liked QT's almost Jake Roberts calm demeanor. Yeah, I'm afraid I gave it an A as well.
What's his name? Kingpin from Daredevil, where he just sits there quietly, just telling them what's going to happen, sort of thing. I quite like that feel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, I like the idea of him as a as a Kingpin type. Yeah, that works for the bunch of thugs. Yeah, I'm afraid I gave it an A as well. Strange.
That's not. You don't need to be afraid. I said I really enjoyed it.
For Nightmare people, this is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, in it.
What are they going to be called? The daytime family?
I think they're just going to be called the Factory because
I like
when
that.
Nick Comoroto tried to throw the paint over it, he tried to hit the nightmare part of it.
Yeah,
but
that throw didn't go too well.
No, it didn't.
Yeah. So my note actually is now weekly Sting and Shivani interview.
I'm so bored of this.
And the weekly interrupt by Jake Roberts and Lance Archer.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this.
I liked it.
I
liked it. But why?
I liked the obviously sort of tweener what Lance and Jake destroy things. I like the fact there was a little bit of Lance, the fact that Lance took the microphone off Jake. Yeah. And I like the fact that Sting just outfaced him, basically. He was like, yeah, I should have the attention. And Sting's like, yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Look at you. And I was like, oh, what's this? I'm going to be mad at you because I deserve this time. Yes, you do, lads. Oh, no, I don't know how to be angry anymore. I gave it a B. I think it was a change on what we expect the wrestling and what wrestling paradigms to be. I think you got a little bit of drama between Jake and Lance, but not too much. Lance's promo game is really coming on. Sting actually had some time to speak. He was actually, the interview wasn't just interrupted. He did speak and give his opinion, and he did it well. I thought it was good.
It is good. I also gave it a B, but I'm just so sick of this bit, though. Like, we don't need Sting out every week, boys. We just don't need this.
You are right.
Next week, can we have Sting backstage just quietly talking to Lance? Things I liked about this. Now, the only criticism I had of this was I didn't think Sting hit the points where he was kind of going, yes, I agree that you should be in there. Shouldn't he, Jake? And almost pointing at the fact is Jake Roberts holding you back, which is where I think it was going. And me and the Raptor were talking about this. A Lance Archer, Darby Allin, Sting faction, I can get behind that if that's maybe Jake is having to step back because we know he has trouble speaking for long periods of time.
Just not a very healthy man
because of his health, and he's specifically, that's one thing. So maybe they are thinking, well, we still want to keep a mouthpiece for Lance. We've got this story here.
I don't think he needs a mouthpiece anymore. But I would rather they keep him as a man who's a true tweener, where if you need him to beat up a heel, he can. If you need him to beat up a face,
he'll just beat up whoever.
He doesn't need a faction.
I don't think that hurts being with Sting and Darby, to be honest. I think if you're going to put him with anyone, as weird as it sounds, because you think of those two as massive faces, but
does he need to be with anyone?
I think he still needs. I still think he actually needs. They probably want him to still work on his promo game. The only other option is sticking with Eddie, which is probably what happens next. Then he'll have gone through Jake Roberts, Sting, and Eddie, and he's gone through three great talkers. That lad will be promo. If you're thinking,
he'll be really good by the age of 48.
But you know what I mean. I think he still needs that little bit of extra polish, and maybe, having him working on the next level. That's just what I saw from it. That's what it suggested to me. It was that Sting he wasn't going for Lance Archer because that'd be daft. Lance Archer hits Sting, he will explode into dust. He went for Jake, and I quite liked that. I'm with you guys. I think it's a B.
Oh, wicked. Oh, what a positive show we're having when it's not talking about wrestling.
I know. Moving on from that, the Teen Taz soap opera.
I love it.
So fucking stupid. I love it.
It makes me laugh. I love Starks' stupid body language. I love Cage's. Cage isn't the best promo man, but he does have great facial expressions. Cool, just use that.
Yeah.
was very short. I did give it a B again, just because of it's honestly one of my favorite parts of the show. It's why I was happy to see Taz go to Cage. I'm like, they don't need enemies. You could just leave them in a room and they do comedy promo stuff.
They fall apart together because they're so, disorganized and dysfunctional. They'll just fall apart if you leave them together.
Yeah, so not a lot to say on it because it was very short, but I'm enjoying these little moments. I think it's great.
Yeah. Moving on from that, Darby Allin with Sting versus JD Drake with Cesar Bononi and Ryan Nemeth. Darby wins with the coffee drop. Thoughts and scores on the match?
Poor DJ didn't even get an entrance.
We opened with a drop kick that didn't hit. It's like he didn't get all of it, and it was a low. Saw right at the start. I didn't have a lot to say.
No,
that top turnbuckle fucking leg lariat from JD Drake was ace. That's pretty much one of my only highlights. My two highlights are things JD Drake did pretty much. Cesar Bononi was down for ages for some reason because apparently Sting hit him with a baseball bat, but commentary didn't tell us that until like 10 minutes after he'd been down.
What?
Yeah, we didn't see it happen either.
No.
The other move I really liked was on the outside. JD Drake picked up Darby, threw him into the ropes. He bounced off and he lariated him.
That was cool.
And that was fucking gold. And it did pick up towards the end. We got more of the actual Darby stuff we expect. Once again, not a lot of chemistry. As much as Cody did the awesome thing of challenging lots of random indie guys and lots of lower card guys, and as good as Darby is, Darby does not have that ring experience that Cody has to play with somebody you don't know and to call on the fly. Not to say the match was terrible. I once again, like every other match we've done this far, gave it a C. It started rough, it ended all right. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about it.
It was a C match. Your thoughts, Morg?
It was a C.
You know it's rough when nobody wants to talk about a Darby match.
It was good. JD Drake looked good in it. Darby sold like fuck for him.
Darby did Darby things.
Yeah, Darby. It was a C. It was a good match. I wasn't bored. I wasn't looking at my phone. I watched the match. It ticked all the boxes for a C. It just didn't do anything phenomenal other than, you say, a couple of moves. Shame. Then Hardy family come out, attack Darby, Sting and the Dark Order for the save. Do we need to add anything to that?
No.
So Darby and Sting are now possibly recruiting Lance and part of the Dark Order and feuding with the Hardy family, and Hangman might be feuding with them, but he's also... I'm getting really confused. Stop putting the Dark Order in everything, guys. We know they're over. They're awesome. We love them.
Well, I don't know if they're over anymore. It's sort of like, they've been used so much recently. I'm getting bored of seeing them.
What if that thing you like, but more?
Yeah,
more of it.
This is dangerous Dubsy territory. Okay, following on from that, Chris Jericho backstage interview. The Pinnacle attacks Jericho, drags him out to the ring. Mike Tyson for the save. Now, there were bits of this I really liked. I'll get back to that when it gets to my point. What did you guys think?
I obviously have mixed opinions on this. I always enjoy a bit of dubsy dubness. I quite like the door breaking was hilarious because you could see the obvious cuts where they made the door break.
Beautiful on the door,
and then Tyson came out, and I have issues with Mike Tyson being on television.
Yeah.
I mean, his punches looked great, and bless Spears taking Mike Tyson's actual rolling boxing punches. I bet they were like, "Who's gonna do this?" Everyone's like, if you're gonna have a face turn, don't have Mike Tyson come out to save you. He is not a person you want associated with your face turn. Everybody deserves a redemption arc. It doesn't need to be on my television. Otherwise, the moment was fine. I didn't even rank it because I'm like, Mike Tyson shouldn't be a celebrity I'm watching on TV.
No, when so many other celebrities are cancelled for so little comparison to him, It's like, why are you here? Okay.
If I put aside all of my personal views, it would be a fine C moment, bringing out your celebrity to beat up the heels and save the new good guys.
But I also hate when celebrities save wrestlers. I guess it makes more sense with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If Mike Tyson came out to save me, I'd believe Mike Tyson was here to save me.
Yeah.
Then all manner of horrible things could happen to me because Mike Tyson's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a conflicting one for me. I'm going to leave this one with you boys.
Oh, yeah. It's a segment.
Thing I liked about it was the knocking down the door. It was the thing that Raptor pointed out. I thought that was really clever. They'd locked the door, and you've got a bunch of meaty guys in there, so they smashed their way through the door to get out. And I really liked that.
Jake Hager as a battering ram.
Oh, that would have been
Just holding him sideways.
Yeah.
I do believe it should have been Jake Hager who not the baseball bat. It should have been Jake Hager just kicking the door.
Jake just smashing through the door.
Yeah, Hulk style. I think that would have worked really well. So moving on from there, Britt Baker backstage interview.
Turns face again. Complaining about win-loss ratio and that it doesn't matter.
So Britt also listens to the show.
Hi Britt. Tell your boyfriend he's short. No, I'm joking.
He ain't 6'1", is he now? Let's be honest.
No. Yeah, it was fine. It was just basically an advert for Dark Elevation.
Yeah, that's fine.
And knowing that she had one of the worst matches on the Dark Elevation I watched, but otherwise it was fine. I didn't rank it. I did laugh at the thing about title shots though.
Why did she keep turning face, boys?
Moving on from there, Bunny with Butcher, Blade and Hardy versus Ty Conti with Dark Order and Shida.
Shida wasn't even announced when she came out.
She just appeared.
It was like, Shida's there. Why is Shida there?
Ty wins with the Hammerlock DDT. I refuse to call it the DD Ty because I think it's a stupid name.
Come on!
What did you guys think of the match? What score did you give it?
I think this is the first match I actually sort of liked more than good, if I'm honest. I think this match had a solid start. Did even in the break, it stayed at a consistent pace, which no male wrestler in AEW has actually managed to achieve yet. Bunny looked really strong throughout. I think they actually had chemistry in the ring together, which I have criticized in every other one of this show. There was some good, solid shenanigans. It got a bit crazy towards the end, but that was fine. Yakuza Shida coming up for the saves and things. I think Bunny's character got over. I think we got some stuff with Tay. I liked it. I gave it a B. It matched all of my conditions of a story going in, bit of story coming out, seeing some of the other character, good shenanigans-y stuff, solid wrestling. That awful finisher I hated was defeated, so she'll have to use the DD tie from now on and not that awful spin round kick thing.
Hey, hello.
I liked it.
Ty KO, fuck's sake. Oh, it hurts my soul.
It's a better name than DD tie, but it's a worse looking move.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I was happy with this match. I was wondering how they were going to end this match without making Bunny look shit. And I thought they did a really good job of that. So I was very pleased when it came out of this. I liked Shida's face protecting face, you know. I thought that was quite a good story. I think they should have made more of a big deal that Shida was coming out to look after her at the start. You know, like, this is your female champion. Please, you know, show her off. You know?
Yeah, she did just sort of into existence.
And we know how badass Shida is. You have booked her correctly. Yeah. Shida is a badass.
Yeah, and she's also willing to protect other faces, which makes sense. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it was a solid B match. Like you said, story in, story out. It was a good enough match and probably the best match of the night coming up to this point, I think. It was very solid.
Yeah, coming up to this point, 100% the best match up to this point. More on that shortly. Go on then, Morg. What do you think?
It's a B. Isn't it nice that the women's match was the one that we've started raving about was like our B match? Our first B of the night. and
Especially
it felt like we had some characters. They had a reason to fight that was nothing to do with
It wasn't
the
a
championship.
pointless tag match.
Yeah, it wasn't just something to do with the championship, so somebody else can be dealing with that, and Britt's got her thing. We're getting some female characters slowly. I was
after a year of shitting on this division. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Ty Conti has been a breath of fresh air to the babyface side, along with I'm having a mental blank.
What do they do?
Anna Jay?
No, half face painted Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa.
Yeah,
with
she's
Thunder Rosa. And I liked this Thunder Rosa.
We do wrestling here.
Yeah, I just had one of those mental blocks for a second. Thunder Rosa, Ty Conti, Shida, they feel like faces. They feel like faces that have each other's backs, and I like that because the heels have had each other's backs. They're not dumb baby faces.
Hooray.
We like not dumb baby faces. Matt, Nick, Britt, who's the other people who listen? Yeah, we like the way you do, Chad. We like the way you do not dumb baby faces. Dumb baby faces annoy us. Really enjoyed this match. Definite B.
Wicked. Oh, the positivity is gonna build up.
Moving on. Red Velvet promo.
It was
sort of a video package combining things. Solid enough. Doesn't really need ranking. It's just a step in this feud. We know what's going on. We've seen each other. They're both that bitch, apparently. Good times.
Yeah. So then Don Callis joins commentary and confused me in my notes because he didn't at first. He fuck-asked about it, and I was going, because they said he's going to join us on commentary. So I've written Callis joins commentary. Then I've written, Kenny and Good Brothers with Don Callis. Then I've crossed Don Callis' name out and gone, Callis joins commentary. Don Callis joins commentary. Kenny and the Good Brothers versus Mox and the Young Bucks. Kenny gets the pin after the Good Brothers hit the Magic Killer. Thoughts and scores on the match. We will discuss what happens after.
Once again, well, I've reviewed everything in one giant go because there was so much story in this.
Yeah.
It was really enjoyable.
Okay,
right.
Well, we'll quickly cover it just for the highlights bit. Then the Young Bucks effectively turn heel and rejoin Kenny and the Good Brothers, but they don't look happy about it. But maybe they are. So yes, let you get back to reviewing the match. Sorry.
It was 23 minutes for this match. I checked the time when it came on, and I was excited. The start with Nick and Kenny together, they're great together. They should be. These guys have been wrestling together for ages now. It was a really good, solid, fun match. I've always popped for Gallows' strikes. I really liked Mox in this match, and I often criticize Moxley. I think now he doesn't have a title, he's having a lot more fun in the ring. There was a lot more of his stupid, swaggery shit, a lot more actual strikes and engages and stuff. Really good. AEW has always been solid with how they sell their big dudes. Nick versus Gallows was great. Nick couldn't do all of his normal stuff. You had to wear him down. Matt versus Omega with the facial expressions in the back and
not
the forth.
really wanted to attack Omega and stuff like that. Yeah.
We got a bang for your buck, which is
my favorite.
It's wicked.
It's great.
I love the conflict in trying to do the BTE trigger.
Yeah.
If I do have a criticism, it's that Gallows and Anderson were dead for a fucking long time. But you had to tell that story, which meant you had to keep them out for a bit. I loved Mox tagging himself in. We had some really good fucking story stuff tying through, some good madness. We had a bunch of good wrestling. I gave this a high B and possibly an A for an overall experience. It was so wrestling. The wrestling was still good. And when I say wrestling, I mean the bullshit the wrestling actually is, not the stuff in the ring.
Yeah.
It had big 90s energy and it pleased me.
It's a B. I don't think it's an A, but I think it's a B myself. But yeah, this was great fun. The Bucks are doing their normal, can't decide if they're face or heels bit, but yeah, I think putting the Elite back together is probably the wisest thing to do to build that like power block. But yeah, it should be good fun. Like, I fully enjoyed this match. I think it was a high B. I don't really have much more to say other than what you've said. I think, it was really solid.
Yeah, the better the match, the less we tend to talk about it.
Yeah,
We
it's
just
really
talk about
hard
them
to
with
go, yeah,
excitement.
this is great. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a bunch of cool slammy things, and then he did that rope jumping thing, but it hit Gallows, and he's a bit bigger, and then they worked him down, and they weren't. Good.
Yeah, it was good.
Morg.
Bees across the board.
Yeah,
Wicked.
Yeah, enjoyed this match. The Young Bucks thing was a bit. I know the Raptor's a little bit sad because some of her boys have turned heel, and she doesn't like that. I'm not convinced they have. I don't know, but maybe they are going to put the Budget Club together, and then it'll get interesting because Hangman's got a gang now. They've got a gang again. They've got a bigger gang now.
Where's Cody?
Yeah, what's Cody? Well, Cody's got.
It's a bit different stated though. The Super Elite and the Dark Order. I would expect the Dark Order to be able to go toe to toe with the Super Elite. Let's be honest here, boys.
Well, but that's the thing, it's Dark Order. And
When Ibushi shows up.
Well, yeah, when Ibushi turns up and
joins the Dark
and the
Order.
boss music changes phases.
I love the idea of him coming and joining the Dark Order, actually. That'd be amazing.
What? Devil Ibushi versus the whole of the Super Elite, just destroying them on his own.
Awesome. Just to throw back for something you mentioned earlier, I wonder whether one of the reasons we're enjoying Mox more is he doesn't feel like he's carrying the company, which is what the guy with the championship belt does, and it can be a lot of pressure.
More fun. You get that little bit of derp into him, which makes him a lot better in my eyes. Because I like this cocky brawler character that's a bit derpy. He's just like, yeah, fuck it, what we doing today? Let's have a fight.
He has a read of the edge of mental, basically.
Yeah.
It used to be his gimmick. He was, the lunatic fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
and the title kind of cost him because he was just like, I've got to defend my title. I'm the best wrestler. Whereas now he's just like, fucking beating people up. Let's go. Woo, wobbly arms. Look at me shake my head. Wonderful.
So,
I've got my mate Eddie.
Yeah, I've got my mate Eddie. So, Mr. Strange, using the power of alphabet maths.
Letter maths.
Alphabet maths. What score do we have?
We've got a bank of C's, a bank of B's, and a couple of A's. And most of the C's are in the wrestling. And most of the high stuff...
Definitely the worst part of this show. It was very, very Attitude Era this week.
But overall, using this incredibly complex system I've devised... it's a high B, yeah. Thanks for spoiling my thunder. I was about to start ripping on...
I'm always here to steal your thunder.
I was like, with a system as accurate as Dave Meltzer's star system... The fucking high B.
Sorry.
Does this mean we've got to come up? Oh yeah, we can have the double S, can't we? When Ibushi finally turns up, that can be our double S moment.
It's not the Tokyo Dome.
That's for when Okada comes to save the best friend.
That is the double S. If that happens ever.
Dragon George.
So there you have it. There you have it. That's our review of the week. And now over to questions. And we've got a question.
Ooh.
Yep. To the Gmail. John Robbins writes, "Hi guys, I really like the show. If you could trade an AEW performer for a WWE performer, it must be a trade. Who do you trade?"
Go on, Strange.
Do you want to do your comedy one first, Strange?
Right, okay. Mine aren't wrestlers; they are staff, and they will not be traveling with their position. They will be here for the character work they've done on screen. I'm trading Tony Khan for Vince McMahon.
Oh. God damn it, that's a good trade.
Oh, that's...
Vince is the best character in fiction. And
he is.
He's gonna puke! I love him. He's just so fucking great.
You've got no chance of that happening, mate. No chance in hell.
I don't have a serious one because I was too busy laughing at that in my own head. But I love.
What about Matt Hardy for Jeff Hardy?
Oh, Matt Hardy for Jeff Hardy. That's another fucking top tier one. So I'm gonna have a think of a serious one whilst you boys go. But Vincent Kennedy McMahon be on every show.
Edge for Christian. I would trade Marco Stunt for Roman Reigns because I'd like to see Roman Reigns be allowed to do whatever he wants. if I could actually get someone, he's not a current roster member, but I'd love to see John Cena as Lance Catamaran turn up on commentary. Who would I actually change? Jokes aside.
So, do you want me to do a couple of sensible ones while you two have a think?
Yeah.
So my first one is a trio for a trio. I'm going to kind of break the rules a little bit because it doesn't state. It's a trio for a trio. I think Jurassic Express would do really well in Dub C. I think they can overplay the old school.
Kiddie,
yeah, they can overplay the old school gimmick. And obviously, if I'm giving you Jurassic Express, well, I want to see the New Day versus the Bucks. So I don't really care about the trade of power there. I want the New Day. I want the New Day versus the Bucks and Kenny. I want to see the New Day versus the Good Brothers and Kenny. I want to see the New Day versus the Good Brothers, and I want to see the New Day versus the Bucks. And I mean versus the Good Brothers, not the club from Dub Z. I mean versus this Gallows and Anderson, the ones that are allowed to be carny and ridiculous, much in the same way.
I've got a serious one.
Okay.
I'd like to trade any low-level female wrestler for Io Shirai. I'd love to have Io Shirai in AEW.
You're not going for the Nazi ghost.
That was my.
Asuka's also great, but you know.
That was one of my others, but that's just because I want to be able to watch Io Shirai when we're doing reviews.
Any of the Joshis. I'll take Kyrie as well. Yeah, just all the. Bring us the Black Lotus triad. We'll get Mayu, and you, I don't know, pick some of the other women. You can't have Britt or Statlander. Or Velvet.
You can have Swole. Or Bunny or Ty. You're not having Bunny or Ty either anymore.
But Bunny's still in a negotiable situation if I'm swapping them for Asuka or Kyrie, if I'm honest with you.
I can get Kyrie saying that.
Okay, this is just pure selfishness. This is Rhea Ripley for Nyla Rose.
Yeah,
I think Nyla Rose would do really well in Dub Z, and I just want Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's a solid one. I don't know how she's doing at the moment. I obviously sort of.
She's against Asuka night 2.
She's against Asuka tonight. Because she's not going to be against Charlotte, because Charlotte's not going to put her over and give her back the win that she should have won last year. Anyway,
Charlotte Flair.
I'm still whinging about that since last year.
Wait, let's carry on. Anyone else we would trade?
We could get Drew Gallows and give him his old indie gimmick back.
Oh,
and who would I trade for Gallows?
It's too easy to trade someone from AEW. In all honesty,
I'm trying to think of people of equivalent sort of popularity / power tier. Yeah. So I'm not sacking off Marco Stunt for
everyone.
But just Marco Stunt for anyone.
I want Adam Cole or Finn Balor, Prince Devitt.
Oh, Finn.
Finn Balor would be interesting.
I don't know who. I don't know who to trade them for.
I know who I want. Holy shit! How have I missed this?
There it comes.
Who do you want?
There's only one holy being. One true man descended from descent.
I knew he was gonna remember him in a minute.
Oh, who can I trade for? Who else is holy and divine?
Oh, AJ Styles.
Who else is worth of trading for AJ with the Good Brothers being able to do whatever the fuck they wanted?
Why didn't you save us, AJ?
I know I should have stayed in Japan. Oh, I'd forgotten AJ. Who's worthy of an AJ swap, though?
Not many.
Do you know what? I hate to say it. If they were going to push him, and I think they'd get behind him, it'd have to be Hangman. I think he's the only one of equal power level. Because Hangman would do well in Dub Z.
Yeah,
but I don't really want to trade Hangman.
But I don't want to trade Hangman. So it's got to be.
I'm swapping Cody for AJ.
Yes. Yeah.
Go back to being Stardust, you fuck.
Sorry, Cody. I know you hated there, but I fucking love AJ Styles.
As I say, I'd like I'd like Adam Cole, or I'd like Prince Devitt, but Prince Devitt.
No, Dimes Devlin.
Yeah. I don't know who. Again, it's that same thing of who do you trade him for? Scorpio Sky for Finn Balor.
Ooh, I don't think that's. I think
I
Finn
love
Balor's-
Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, but
Finn
So do
Scorpio,
I.
And moreover.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a hard
Whoever
choice.
said
But
this,
they're
whoever
both
said
they're
this
both
que-
they're both match plus ones
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
That's the
Whoever
thing. So try
said
to do
this in is testing. Oh, I'll swap Michael Nakazawa for Nakamura.
I don't think they count.
The King of Strong Style for Nakamura. Come on, mate.
For Nakazawa, you mean? You've just
whereabouts
suggested
on the
that Nakazawa is the king of strong style.
Yeah, he is. What
Whereabouts
are you
on the
talking
card
about?
are they in each other's shows? I think they get about the same amount of screen time currently. And,
Yeah, you're not wrong. What about Bray Wyatt? Would you like the Fiend or some other spoopy character in your AEW?
Oh,
think
let
I'd-
him invent what he wants.
I'd
He'd
yeah.
have a great time.
Yeah, I'd just want Bray Wyatt, but who do you swap him for?
He's
A
quite
member
high
of
up.
creative.
Darby.
I'm swapping him for a member of creative.
Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, he's being swapped with Dustin. They can write plots and train people together. Don't need to wrestle anymore, Bray. Just give me some Lucha Underground shit.
Yes,
Give me your
mate.
great creativity. Also, he loves kayfabe, so that's great.
Yeah.
Anybody who loves kayfabe is in.
Well, that's given us a bit of a discussion. So there you go.
Yeah, look at this
Yeah,
go.
So normally we would now have a little section. If this is your first time listening, we would have a little section where we do one of general things, have a discussion, or do some booking on the fly, or have a rant about things. Excuse me. Or recently we've been reviewing some of our favourite matches to
We've got to watch WrestleMania.
to give Muir a rest, but because we're watching WrestleMania, we have decided we'll do a shorter show. If you would like to send anything in to us, you're going to hear this quite a lot now in the next couple of minutes.
Please do.
Send questions to wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. You can find us at Wrestleopinionated at Anchor.fm, Spotify, and YouTube. Over to you, Mr. Muir.
Thank you very much for listening. I'm just going to say something different and make stuff up on the fly.
We don't have to give the dates anymore.
Toolsayer for white belt. Tam Stock still increasing. Julia prettier than she was as tomboy. I don't know. Over to you, Strange.
Oh, Mad Max Julia is a dime's fucking look, though. She's got that shit
mate.
down.
She looks great.
Tam Keck, what a hardcore legend. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, share it on Twitter, hit the little bell thing, leave a comment, send us questions. We'll fucking talk about anything, and I'll give you a made-up fighting name if you want it. We really do appreciate you listening. Please pass it on to other people who listen to wrestling. Back to you, Morg.
All that's left to be said, goodbye and good night, and join us for WrestleMania tomorrow.